action.
Hello students, welcome to the 14th lecture of the course Environmental Science. The course code is MC301 for second year, and this is Jeet Chakraborty from the Department of Chemistry. And in this lecture, we will see what is water and what is water pollution, we should deal with this problem of water pollution. Okay, so basically, as I have told you, this is the 14th lecture. That means we have already come across 13 different lectures, right, in this particular paper code. In these 13 lectures, we have completed two modules so far, and these two modules actually contains general environment as well as air and its pollution, right? First module was general environment, and the second module is air and its pollution. Now, in the first module, we have come across lectures 1 to 6, and in that particular module, we have seen that what is a resource, what are resources, right? What are the types of resources, how we should behave with resources, why resources are useful to us, what are resistance towards the growth of resources, right? Multiple things we have seen, okay? And what are the types of resistances, what is cultural resistance, what is human resistance, right? These things we have seen in the first lecture. After that, in the consecutive lectures, we have seen what is ecosystem, how ecosystem is to be dealt with, what is grassland ecosystem, what is desert ecosystem, what is marine ecosystem, right? That means we have seen the brief details about the terrestrial ecosystems as well as the aquatic ecosystem, right? Now, also in that module only, we have seen what is environmental management, how we should deal with this environmental management kind of thing, okay? And how the different aspects, the different protocols, the different rules and regulations are made by different organizations. What is the need for these rules and regulations, how they are formulated, and how we should follow them, and why we should follow them. That detailed study has been done in the first 6 lectures, right? Last but not least, we have seen what is population, how population affects us, right? What is population growth, how many types of population growth models are there, and how to deal with those models, which one is good, which one is bad, what is exponential growth model of population, what is logistic growth model of population. These things also we have seen briefly in these 6 lectures, the first 6 lectures, lecture number 1 to 6, right? After lecture number 6, from 7 to 12, we have come across the different topics like air and its pollution, okay? And in that particular thing, we have come across 7 lectures, right? Part 1 to part 7. Now, in those 7 lectures, we people have briefly explained in the very first lecture, that is lecture number 7. We have briefly explained about the atmosphere and its levels, right? How many types of layers are present in atmosphere? Now, what is the composition of these layers, and how, which one is good, which one is bad? What is the temperature? What is the height of this layer? All this we have studied in very detail, right? Now, after this is being completed, we have seen what pollutants are, how many types of pollutants are there. We have seen that there are basically 2 types of pollutants, primary and secondary. And in primary and second, apart from primary and secondary, there is a third category which is separate, right? That is criteria pollutants. And these criteria pollutants again are of 6 types. And this criteria pollutants, how they harm us, how they are to be dealt with, right? Each and every details we have seen in that air and its pollution part of it. Now, this was not the complete end, because after this we people have seen what is greenhouse effect, what is global warming, and what is acid rain, how acid rain is caused, why global warming is caused, how we can control greenhouse effect, how we can control the emission of greenhouse gases, right? Multiple things people have seen. And we have seen what is smog, what is photochemical smog, what is London smog, how we should deal with this smog type of thing, how is smogs formed, when the smog appeared for the first time, how they have affected the society, everything we have seen. Also, at the end of the lectures, we have seen what type of questions may come for the semester exam, right? Okay, so quite in a detailed way this has been done. And last but not least, the lecture 13, which was the very last lecture before this one started, we have seen how air pollution can be controlled. That is, we have seen the control of air pollution. Okay, now in that particular lecture we have seen what is electrostatic precipitator, what is bag house filter, what is catalytic converter, right? And their uses, their details, what is scrubber, everything we people have seen. And at the end of that lecture also we have seen the detailed questions, that what sort of questions may come from this that particular lecture in the semester. Okay, now after this journey of air, right, after we have flied in air for a long time, now it's time for us to go inside water. Okay, I'm not saying that okay, jump into the river, jump into the well, jump into the pond. No, go inside water means we'll study the total aspects of water in a deep way. We'll see what is water first, what are the different qualities of water, how we should determine that the water that we are using is good or bad. Okay, what is the quality, water quality. Okay, that things also we'll be seeing here. After that, we will see what is hardness of water, what is alkalinity, what is salinity, right? And what are the different water pollutants, and what is the most important thing, BOD, what is 5D BOD test, how it can be done, and different numericals regarding that. We'll see what is COD, how COD is to be done. That also we will see in this particular thing. And apart from this, we will see that what are the primary, secondary, and treatments of water, right? We'll see how hardness of water can be controlled. Okay, so in the next few lectures we will see all these details, and let us see what is present in this particular lecture. This is the first lecture, which is named water and its pollution, and this is the part 1. Okay, now let us quickly look at the lecture highlights. You can see that the lecture highlights are simply saying that in this particular lecture we will see what are the water quality indicators, right? Different type of water quality indicators we'll be seeing, and then we will see what are the physical indicators, what are the chemical indicators, what are the biological indicators. Okay, and when this total thing is done, then we will see what is salinity of water. Okay, so this is what we will see. These are the points that we will see in this particular lecture. Okay, so let us go to the first point. Now you can see the topic of this particular thing is environmental water quality. Okay, now question arises, what is the meaning of this point, environmental water quality? What is environmental water quality? You know, water quality is very important for us because see, as we all know that water is the basic need of all human beings, and water is considered life. Okay, yes, it's true, water is life. Without water we cannot live, right? Without drinking water, without using water, we cannot live. But how many of you have seen the movie Life of Pi? How many of you have seen? I think majority have seen, right? I have also seen. In that particular movie we see that the person, the hero, I'm not talking about Irfan Khan, right? The boy who played the character of the hero, right? That particular person, he was stuck in the boat with Mr. Sher Khan, right? And for months, I get, there was plenty of water around because they were in the sea, plenty of water. But is that water drinkable? The answer is no. Seawater is salty in nature and it is not drinkable, right? Number two, under that condition, when we say the water around us is good and water is life, see, the fact is, yes, water definitely is life, but if it is in very excess quantity, then it may take the life, right? It may take life instead of giving life. Okay, so what is the quality of water? See, suppose we are having a drain, We are having a drain full of water in front of us. Now you are very much thirsty. So can we drink water from the drain? Again, you will say no. The fact is why? Why we are saying no? Why we cannot drink water from a drain? The answer to this question lies in the fact that the water quality is not good. Okay. Now, in order to say that the water quality is not good, we need to see what are the parameters that determines the quality of water. Yes or no? It is very important to see that what are the factors that determines the quality of water. Okay. Those factors we will clearly explain in this particular lecture. Okay. So let us see what is contained in this particular thing. You see, water quality refers to the chemical, physical, and biological and radiological characteristics of water. Okay. Now, chemical means what different type of chemicals are present in water. Physical means what is the density, what is temperature, these sort of things. Biological means what biological organisms are present in water and what type of needs the water will satisfy. Radiological means if we do radioactive studies or radiological studies, then what changes we will see in the quality of water, right? So these are the four things. It is a measure of the condition of water relative to the requirements of one or more biotic species or to any human need or purpose, right? That means the quality of water will be judged on the basis of on the basis of the fact that for what particular work you are using that water. Okay, so in terms of our use, the quality of water is determined. For example, suppose we want to take water for washing our clothes, right? We want to take water for we want to use water for washing our clothes. Now, under that condition, we will try to have the water which is not hard. We'll try to have soft water. Means we want that water which contains a less amount or no amount of dissolved salts of calcium and magnesium. Why the fact is like that? If we use hard water, then what will happen? The scum, the gummy mass will be formed on the object that we are washing, right? On the cloth that we are washing, and the brightness, the sparkle of the cloth will go off, right? That's why for that particular purpose it is said that if the water quality is soft, then it is good quality water, right? For washing purpose. Now if we consider drinking purpose, right, if we consider drinking purpose, then we will say that fresh water or sweet water is better than salty water. Why? Because we cannot drink salty water, but we can drink fresh water, right? So depending on the human need or purpose, the quality of water is judged. Okay. Now it is the most frequently used by reference to a set of standards against which compliance generally achieved treatment of water can be assessed. Okay. Now there are a set of standards with respect to which we will see that the water quality is good or bad, because without a proper set of standard, it is not possible to rectify that what quality of water we are having, to understand what quality of water we are having, right? So that's why there is a particular scale, a particular standard which will be used to assess the quality of water. Okay. Now the most common standards used to assess water quality: safety of human contact and drinking water, right? So as far as the common assessment qualities are, that is health of ecosystem, safety of human contact, and drinking water. So if we can drink water, if it is safe for us and if it is healthy for an ecosystem, then it is considered to be good. Otherwise, it is considered to be bad. Okay. Now environmental water quality, right? It is also called the ambient water quality, and it relates to water bodies such as lakes, rivers, and oceans, right? Environmental water quality means whatever water is available. Yes, definitely total water is available by the environment only, but it is considered that whatever water is flowing inside the lakes, rivers, and oceans, in those particular bodies, whatever water is present, if that water is good or bad, right? So that is called ambient water quality. Okay, ambient water quality, right? Now water quality standard for surface water vary significantly due to different environmental condition, ecosystem, and indeed human use. See, groundwater, surface water, both are different. Groundwater is difficult to access, whereas surface water is very easy to access. That means, suppose we want a bucket of water. Now we will not say we will not make a hole, a well, right, to take groundwater for filling that bucket. Rather, what we will do, we will go to a nearby pond and we'll fill the bucket of water. So if your whatever use you are doing of that particular water, if suppose you are you're washing your clothes in the pond, right, the water quality will be bad. But you cannot do the same in terms of groundwater. Okay, so groundwater and surface water are very much different as far as quality is concerned, as far as use is concerned, right? Now significantly the quality of surface water will vary due to human use. Okay, now toxic substances and high population of certain microorganisms can present a health hazard for non-drinking purposes such as irrigation, swimming, fishing, rafting, boating, and industrial use. Now, yes, this is very important because we may think that okay, the water that is non-drinkable, fine, we are not drinking, so we can use any water. It is not like that. It is not like that. We cannot use any water for doing anything. For example, if we use water having high salt content in irrigation, then what will happen? The total vegetation will die. Okay, if we swim inside water that is toxic, then what will happen? Your body will have that toxic thing inside you. Okay, similar happens to industrial uses also, right? So we should clearly know what type of water people are using before we use that particular water, right? Now this is the next slide about the quality of water again, and it is said that the conditions may also affect wildlife which use the water for drinking as habitat. See, we are human beings, we are far more evolved, we are far more developed, so we know that which water is good, which water is bad. By testing the water quality, we know that, right, that this is good, this is bad. But how the animals will know? The animals may not know, may not sense that which water is good, which water is bad. It may happen that they are drinking the water, but after certain time they fall ill and they die. Why? Because the water may be toxic, the water may be poisonous, right? Okay, so the bad quality of water may also affect wildlife to a large extent. Now, modern water quality laws generate specified protection of fisheries and recreational use is required as a minimum and retention of water quality standard, right? Now, whatever water quality laws have been prescribed, they take care of the fisheries, right? That whether the fishes, whether the water in which the fishes are lying, that water is good or bad, that they will verify, right? And also it depends on the current quality standards. Okay, now there is some desire among the public to return water bodies to pristine or pre-industrial conditions, right? Most current environmental laws focus on the designation of particular uses of water body. In some countries, these designations allow for some water contamination, so as long the particular type of contamination is not harmful to the designated uses, right? Yes, see, the laws for maintenance of water quality, whatever has been formulated, right, what they do, they basically prescribe that okay, this particular water belongs to this particular is designated for this particular type of use. For example, suppose we are having a pond. Okay, now in that pond there are large number of fishes. Now the water quality standard laws, right, suppose they are prescribing us that okay, fine, you can wash your clothes inside water. So if you are washing your clothes inside water, what happens? Different type of chemicals are moving inside water. Now if it is good for the fishes, then it's okay, but if it is bad for the fishes, after a certain period of time there are stringent laws which will actually restrict us by doing the same inside the water. Why? Because they will be harmful to the population of fishes, right? Now what they're saying, given the landscape changes, example, land development, urbanization, clear cutting in forest areas, in the watersheds of many freshwater bodies, returning to the pristine conditions would be a significant challenge. In such cases, in these cases, environmental scientists focus on achieving the goals of maintaining healthy ecosystems and may concentrate on the protection of population of endangered species by protection of human health. Okay, so it is very difficult to return the actual quality of that particular water. As a result, we need to be concerned that we should use the water in such a way that the water is safe for the use of future generation. Okay, let us go to the next slide. Now these are the different indicators of water quality. Now we should know about each of this, right? The physical indicators is the first we are starting with. Okay, physical indicators, right? Now first is water temperature. If temperature of water is very cold, then it is not good for fishes. Also, if temperature is very high, then also it is not good for fishes, because what happens if the temperature is high, then the dissolved oxygen becomes less. Okay, so it is not good. Specific conductance or electrical conductance or conductivity, right? This is very important. Suspended solids, very important. If large number of suspended solids are there, then the water quality is very bad. Okay, transparency or turbidity. What is the turbidity of water? What is the transparency of water? There are few chemical tests that we can do in actually the water, right, to determine its turbidity and transparency. Okay, now this is the main important thing. Whenever a person will come to your house to see whether you will buy AquaGuard or Kent or whatever, then he or she, what they will check, they will check the TDS of your water. Now what is the full form of this TDS? Total dissolved solids, right? This TDS of this water they will check. They will say that what is the TDS. Depending on TDS, you will just select the filter that you want to buy. Okay. Next is odor, color, taste, and chemical indicator. Okay. Now odor, color, taste is quite good. Chemical indicator means nothing but what is the pH of water, or what type of chemical analysis that we can do using that particular water. Okay. So these were the physical characteristics. Let us go to the chemical characteristics. And the very first point that we are having here is the pH, right? I was talking about pH in the last slide. Then comes one of the most important thing, that is biochemical oxygen demand. Then comes chemical oxygen demand. Then comes dissolved oxygen. Very important points, you know very well. Then comes hardness of water, we have already spoken about. Then comes the heavy metals that are present. This is very important. Nitrates, orthophosphates, pesticides, and surfactants. Whatever chemical species are present inside water, that is to be determined as a part of the chemical indicators. Okay. What next? Biological indicators. Now, as you can see, all these are biological names. First one is Epimheporrhea, right? Second one is Plecoptera. Third one is mollusk. Fourth one is Trichoptera. Then Escherichia coli, that is E. coli bacteria. Then coliform bacteria. Then fathead minnow, and then mysid shrimp. Right? All these are biological species, the presence of whom is detected, that whether they are present in water or not. Presence of some of them are good, presence of others are bad. Okay, right? So these were the three indicators by which we can clearly see that what the water quality is. It is good or it is bad. Okay. So environmental water quality is basically determined by three factors: physical, chemical, biological. And we have seen that what factors are determined in order to know the quality of water, right? Now what we are having? We are having salinity of water, right? Now what is the meaning of this word salinity? Salinity means how much salt is present. See, salinity is the saltiness or amount of salt dissolved in a water body, right? If we are saying saline water, as we know that fresh water is very less, saline water is maximum of the 3/4 part of water that is present on Earth. Saline water is maximum. Okay. Now, this saline water, the phenomenon of saline water is known as salinity, and it is the measure of the amount of salt that is present in water, right? Okay. Now, salinity is salt in grams divided by kg of seawater taken. So as gram and kg are there, this is basically a topic of molality, right? This is clear from our knowledge of chemistry. Okay, this will be estimated in terms of molality, right? Now this salinity is a very important factor in determining many aspects of chemistry of natural waters and a biological process within it. See, many fishes are there which are actually specially made for saline water. So they lie in saline water only. If you make them live in fresh water, they will die. Similarly, if the fishes that are meant to live in fresh water, if you allow them to go to saline water, then they will die, right? So these are different biological processes. Also, it is a thermodynamic state variable that along with temperature and pressure governs the physical characteristics like density and heat capacity of water. Yes, if salt is there, salt is an electrolyte, right? Salt means nothing but NaCl. Now this NaCl is nothing but an electrolyte, okay, which is highly conductive in nature. Now whenever NaCl will lie in water, then we will find out that what this NaCl is causing, right? So definitely it will change the temperature, it will change the pressure, and it will also govern the density and heat capacity of water, right? So it is very, very important to consider that what the salinity of water is. A control line of constant salinity is called isoline or sometimes isohel, right? Okay, so this is very much important for us to determine the salinity of water, right? So this was the total aspect of today's lecture, and in today's lecture we people have briefly seen that what is water, what are the qualities of water, right, and what is environmental water quality, how it is predicted, what are the physical, chemical and biological factors, and last but not least, how salinity governs water, why salinity is important, and how we should measure the salinity of water that we people have seen, because saline water is majority, fresh water is very less available. Okay, so that's all for today's lecture. This was the first lecture of water and its pollution, and now we are knowing about water. After that we will see what is water pollution, and then we'll see how water pollution can be controlled. Okay, right, so see you in the next lecture. Stay tuned and stay safe. Okay, thank you so much.